Right, good morning to Darren McCanty. So a little bit more there on Van Dijk. Jamie Redknapp there, wasn't so sure. Now you're defending him there. You think that maybe, do his teammates need to do more to help him?
What we're not focusing on there in the clip is, look at Konate before that. He's like Bambi on ice trying to win a header. If he does his job, Van Dijk's partner, and clears that out, you're never in that situation in the first place. So he's now making up for Konate's mistake because he gets beaten, the ball gets knocked down, and then Van Dijk makes the mistake of passing it straight to their player in a moment of panic with everything going on. Look, Virgil van Dijk's been a world-class player for years, one of the best defenders the Premier League's seen for a long time. He's having a tough period of time, but I would also argue he's dealing with a lot around him. I'm not trying to make excuses for him because he hasn't been perfect, and last night was another example where you'd say, put your body on the line, go out and meet the player, go out and block the shot properly as opposed to backing off, which is a big thing that he does. I'm not a technician, so I'm not going to teach one of the best defenders in the world how to block a shot or how to defend. But I would always say, look at the circumstances. And it's very easy to kick a player when they're down. Confidence is a funny thing in any sport. And Jamie's right about being fragile. Liverpool are fragile. They're having a moment. Their captain's having a moment. But he's also looking around the dressing room. He's looking around the 11, and he's seen a different right back one week, a different left back one week, a goalkeeper with hamstring issues where they've got to change a goalkeeper. He's got a partner next to him who keeps getting played, who really, if we had another central defender, would probably have been dropped already because he's been one of the probably worst performers this season. So there are mitigating circumstances for what's going on. Never mind the midfield in front of him who aren't doing enough to close down the opposition as well. So it's not just a Virgil van Dijk issue. This is an overall bigger issue since the summer.
The first half performance was considered
lackluster.
Flat, lackluster. What do you put that down to, though?
I think they're struggling within themselves. They went to West Ham, did a job, got a result they needed to get. It was like a get-win-quickly fix, which worked. And then obviously they're back at Anfield last night. Last time they'd been there, they obviously got stuffed by Nottingham Forest. So the pressure's on the players. I think a lot of players are struggling to adapt, particularly the players who moved in the summer. I think everything gone on at Liverpool since Jota passed away, God bless him, it hasn't been an ideal summer from a recruitment perspective with, Isak obviously not fit, not up to speed quick enough. I think the biggest issue for me was not replacing Luis Diaz. I think that's been a big problem for Liverpool. And then Mo Salah's not sudden decline, but the fact he's looking a year older. Those wide areas were our strength. They now look like a weak area for the team. So Slot's got a lot on his plate. The owners have got a lot on their plate. But as a Liverpool fan, I'll tell you this. A few years ago after we won the title, the following year, we were on the worst run I've ever seen. We ended up getting top four and then we won the title a couple of years later. So this is football. Confidence can be fragile.
And 8th in the table, it is only 2 points off the top four. And top four, given that Slot won the title last season with that credit in the bank, top four might be enough. And of course, there's still Europe and FA Cup to come.
Yes. I mean, obviously, Champions League is a consideration. They'd love to win that. The title's probably gone, being 11 points out of it so soon in the season, and you don't see an Arsenal or a Man City giving up that kind of a lead, and I still think Man City might pip Arsenal. But I think more importantly is bed those new players in, get confidence back in the group, start winning at Anfield again and making that the place everyone used to fear going to. I'm watching Sunderland be quite comfortable at Anfield last night. That's unsettling. To see Nottingham Forest beat you score 4 past you, that's unsettling. People are writing off Slot. He's under a lot of pressure. Slot ball, they want to talk about, was a Jurgen Klopp's team last year. I think it's harsh. I would definitely be on the side of, you give that manager as much time as you can. I think he deserves that. He's got enough credit in the bank. And those newer players, particularly Isak, get your act together. It's time now to show up. All of this about not being fit and not having a pre-season, there was a lot of money invested in you. You paid a lot of money. You're going to need a lot more than 6 or 7 touches around the pitch. And you're going to have to start running the hard yards. There's not enough of that's happening either.
So if you're the owner of Liverpool and you're in charge of obviously changing managers, etc., do you think that regardless of what happens this season, Slot should still be there at the end of the season?
Absolutely. Unless some disastrous reason Liverpool are
What would
7,
be a
8.
disaster for Liverpool, do you think? What would make it that bad?
Going into January, February, where basically Liverpool are 6th, 7th or 8th and 10 points outside of the Champions League would be a disaster for a club that size and the investment that was made in the summer, even though they sold a lot of players. And people forget, I think it was 10 players that left. They talk about the 400 million spent. It was also nearly 300 odd million brought in.
Yeah.
So a lot of changes needed to happen, a lot of restructure needed to happen. The biggest problem Liverpool have got is the system, is betting those new players in, not looking themselves out wide. Things like that make you uncomfortable. Liverpool's biggest strength was out wide. And you're looking this season, you're looking whether it's Salah, Gakpo, it's not working out wide. Now you got Wirtz and you got to find where are you playing him. Sometimes he's playing off the left, sometimes he's playing in the centre, sometimes he's in a free role. bed those players in, knuckle down, and dig out more results. They got to get a result against Leeds. They go to Leeds and have a disaster, and Leeds had a great win last night. He's under pressure again. People like Van Dijk will be in that dressing room now saying to the players, we can't make those mistakes that we've been making all season. It's time to clean it up. Sunderland had a great game plan last night. A lot of respect. I know it's your club. Nobody expected them to come to Anfield and nearly nick it in the 90th minute and be so comfortable. Liverpool showed up.
Right there.
Liverpool showed up in the last 10 minutes, and that was great. But we needed them to show up at Anfield for 90 minutes. That's what the crowd expects. I expect that will happen very soon, and they will win 4 or 5 in a row. My biggest concern for me would be out wide, and obviously the number 9 that you want to go with. They spent so much money on Isak, it's almost by default he's in the team, and his performances haven't merited him being in the team at the moment.
Well, Sky Sports are partnered with Finalysis, an app where passionate fans share their opinions on their club. If you want to represent your club, scan the QR code on the screen now or visit the Sky Sports app for more details. Let's speak to Liverpool fan Connor Ray now. Good morning, Connor. Now, you'll have heard Jamie Carragher say it felt like another step backwards for Liverpool last night. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how we could not agree with that, right? I noticed it's you smiling this morning, Tom, instead of me for once. It was another poor result at Anfield for us, and after the West Ham performance, as Darius just said, it was an unacceptably lackluster performance from us as well. That first half, as Gethin Carragher described it on co-coms as sleepwalking towards a loss and sleepwalking towards another poor performance, and that's exactly how it felt. It was like the first half of the Man City game, and after the recent losses we've had, you just want the players to come out and to show a bit of fight, to show a bit of willing, to get involved in their duels, to get involved in the tackle, and there was none of that present again last night.
Well, it's interesting there you used the word unacceptable. Regis Lebris after the game said Sunderland were surprised by the time and space that they had to play. I'm sure you'd describe that as unacceptable too for Liverpool side at home.
Definitely, and it's something we're not used to as well. You know, this team, you look at the spine of the team is still the same, right? The same team that played under Klopp and was renowned for not giving teams space at Anfield, for pressing high up the pitch, winning the ball back that high up and creating chances from there. That sort of that gegenpressing football, and teams feared coming to Anfield as well. Now, I know that's not Slot's tactics. I know that he likes to try and control the game a bit more and press in moments instead. But when we seem to be playing with the same sort of arrogance that a 2018 Man City team that we're playing with that just achieved 100 points in the league. And we're not that side. We might be Premier League champions, but
we might have lost Connor there, but Darryl,
got to invest in some Wi-Fi.
Yeah, he'll sort that out and he'll come back on. But Darryl, on that, it was quite interesting hearing the Sunderland manager Regis Lebris saying that they were surprised by the space. I think they were expecting to be closed down quicker, etc.
There's no doubt
more
about
energy maybe from Liverpool.
There's a lack of intensity right now in Liverpool. Whether that's down to confidence, whether that's down to I don't know the training schedule. I don't know about what goes on behind closed doors. But you look at Liverpool, they're not the pressing machine that they were, or pressing animal they were last year. Certainly not under Klopp, where they'd press you so high up the pitch. What you saw in the final 10 minutes when Sunderland went 1-0 up, it was like button goes, let's start pressing them, let's get the ball back. Sunderland didn't have the ball for like 9 minutes, I think. That's what you expect from a Liverpool team against a top side, and no disrespect to Sunderland, when they're playing an Arsenal or whether they're playing a Man City. That's the Liverpool you expect. So for those players at the moment to lack the intensity, I've just seen something about Joe Gomez losing 8 of 9 duels that he contested last night. Mo Salah, probably couldn't beat me at the moment if I was playing full back for some reason. So something's not quite right, but it doesn't mean it can't get right. And we're talking about a magnificent football club that's just won the title, have had a horrible summer off the pitch, have had a lot of changes on the pitch. And for that, I'm one of those people that, we give them more time. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and stick with them. Because it's easy to say, it's horrible to watch, it's lackluster, the manager doesn't know what he's doing, the intensity's gone from all of the players, he's lost the dressing room. That's just the easy narrative, and the narrative the media like to spin and put more pressure on.
We don't know if he's lost the dressing room. There's no way we can know that.
He hasn't. The bottom line is they've got to go back to work. I always say, it's a saying of mine, goes back in, whether it's in sports or off the field, on the field, is that, the harder you work, the luckier you get. And when you're in real moments of challenges in your life, dig in and work harder. I say the same to my kids every day. When I was under the most pressure in my life, I always found work even harder. And I came through it. Because if you just wave the white flag and you give up at that point, well, then everyone wins. And I don't think anyone's going to win this time. I think Liverpool will come through this, and it'll make them stronger. And I do hope Slot comes through it.
The stat that you just said there is, I'm not a massive stats man, but these are actually quite interesting here. You're right. So Joe Gomez lost 8 of his 9 duels.
Yep.
Salah lost all 4 of his in the second half. Dominic Szoboszlai won 1 of 5 ground duels.
He's played, by the way, and Szoboszlai's been one of the positives this season.
He's the one people have been praising the most.
You don't want to get him dragged
shifted
down. He's been shifted. He's like a utility player.
Can you I suppose, defend him in that sense? That he's been right back, central midfield.
Square pegs, round holes. I hate that. One of my biggest bugbears with managers of mine over the years. I hate square pegs, round holes. We've got a left back, let's play him right wing. We've got a right winger on, we can play him as an 8. At the end of the day, play your right back as a right back, play your right winger wide right. You know, put people in their positions. A club the size of Liverpool shouldn't need utility players filling in. That right there is one of the biggest problems we've had going into this season. That every right back we have seems to be made of glass or has got an issue. You know, there's too many changes. I don't know Slot's best 11. I don't think you do.
Think he does?
I don't think he does at the moment. That's a problem. You could ask Arteta, he would know his best 11. 95% of those players are going to play in the big games. You know that.
It seems like the players who do come in with an injury know their jobs.
No, absolutely.
Know their jobs.
And Liverpool's biggest problem isn't just Van Dijk. McAllister's been below par this season. So many of their top players, Gravenberch hasn't been anywhere near the standard of last year. So many of their top players have fallen way below. What do they say about climbing a mountain when you're a champion? You win, you climb the mountain. It's tougher to go back down and go back up again, or even to stay up there. That's where you give respect to Man City winning so many titles for so many years in a row. Liverpool haven't quite. We waited a long time to win a league title. The back-to-back seems to be the next big thing we need to obviously change. So, look, it's not all is lost. They can have a great season. They can win the Champions League, finish top 4. You know, right now, it feels like it's the end of the world. It's not.